My name is Emily. For the last 8 years, I believed I had the perfect marriage. My husband, Daniel, was charming, attentive, and ambitious. We met in college, and from the moment he smiled at me across the library, I thought I had found my forever. I used to tell my friends, Daniel isn't just my husband, he's my best friend, my safe place. And for the longest time, I truly believed that. But the story I'm about to tell you will prove how quickly love can turn into betrayal, and how betrayal can turn into a fire that fuels revenge. It all started one chilly November morning. I woke up early, the way I always did, to make breakfast before Daniel rushed off to work. He worked as a financial consultant, often pulling long hours, and I prided myself on being the supportive wife. I cooked, I cleaned, I managed our home, and I waited for him every night with dinner on the table. That morning, as I poured his coffee into a travel mug, I noticed something odd. His phone buzzed on the counter. The screen lit up with a message from someone named S. Can't stop thinking about last night. When can I see you again? I froze. The words punched the air right out of my lungs. For a moment, I told myself it must be a mistake. Maybe S was a client? Maybe it was innocent? But the words, last night, stabbed through my chest. Daniel walked in, adjusting his tie, completely unaware that my world had just cracked open. Good morning, sweetheart, he said casually, kissing my cheek. You're up early. I forced a smile, my heart thudding in my throat. Yeah, just wanted to get your coffee ready. He grabbed the mug, completely oblivious. You're the best. I don't know what I'd do without you. The irony almost made me laugh. As he left, I stared at his phone still buzzing with notifications. But I didn't unlock it. Not yet. For the next few days, I tried to convince myself it was nothing. But little things started piling up. Daniel came home later than usual. He showered the second he walked through the door. He guarded his phone like a hawk, keeping it face down on the table. And then there was the cologne, different from the one I'd bought him last Christmas. Stronger, sexier, not his usual scent. I knew. Deep down, I knew. But knowing and accepting are two very different things. One Friday evening, I finally got my chance. Daniel was in the shower when his phone buzzed again. My hand shook as I picked it up. His passcode? Our wedding date. How poetic. I unlocked it, and there she was. Her name was Samantha. The texts were bold, shameless. Last night was amazing. I miss your touch. When will you tell her the truth? Tears blurred my vision, but I kept scrolling. Photos. Selfies. A picture of them together in a hotel room, his arm around her waist, his lips against her cheek. My Daniel. My husband. With another woman. When he came out of the bathroom, towel around his waist, I was sitting on the bed, his phone in my hand. My heart raced, but I stayed calm. Too calm. Emily. He froze, his face draining of color. What are you doing? I looked up at him, my voice steady despite the storm raging inside me. I should be asking you that, Daniel. What are you doing with her? He stammered, fumbling for words. It's not what you think. I laughed bitterly. Not what I think. She called you amazing. She sent you pictures. Don't insult my intelligence. He sat on the edge of the bed, running a hand through his hair. Emily, listen, it just happened. I didn't mean for it to go this far. My chest burned. Didn't mean for it to go this far? How far did you mean it to go? A kiss? A night? Or the entire double life you've been living behind my back? He looked at me with pleading eyes. I love you. You're my wife. This doesn't change that. I stared at him, disgust and heartbreak warring inside me. It changes everything, Daniel. The next few days were hell. I walked around like a ghost, my mind consumed with images of him with her. My friends noticed my silence, but I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone. Shame weighed on me. Was I not enough? Had I failed as a wife? But then, something inside me shifted. Why should I feel ashamed? He was the one who betrayed me. He was the one sneaking around with another woman. And Samantha, she wasn't innocent. She knew he was married. She knew about me. And yet, she paraded around, sending texts, flaunting pictures, as if she had already won. I started to think. Maybe she thought she did win. But she had no idea who she was up against. One night, Daniel left his phone on the kitchen counter. My hands trembled as I typed a reply to Samantha, pretending to be him. Let's meet soon. I'll tell Emily everything. Just give me time. Her response came instantly. Can't wait. I love you, baby. I stared at those words, my blood boiling. That night, as Daniel slept beside me, I made a decision. I wouldn't just sit back and cry. I wouldn't let Samantha think she had stolen my husband and gotten away with it. No. If she wanted a war, she would get one. I would let her believe she was winning. Right until the moment I destroyed them both. Because this wasn't just about heartbreak anymore. It was about revenge. And so it began, the plan that would change everything. The first step, I had to get close to Samantha. I had to understand her weaknesses, her arrogance, her blind spots. Because only then could I strike where it hurt the most. But what I didn't know then was that stepping into Samantha's world would uncover secrets far darker than just an affair. Secrets that would leave me questioning everything I thought I knew about Daniel. And about myself. End of part 1. And the very first time I came face to face with Samantha, she smiled at me as if she had already taken my place. The first time I saw Samantha in person, I swear my heart stopped. I had arranged it carefully. Daniel told me he had a late meeting. But of course, I already knew where he really went. I followed him, quietly, cautiously, keeping my car a few lengths behind. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly I thought I might snap it. He pulled into a small upscale cafe, one I knew well because he used to take me there when we were dating. My stomach twisted at the irony. And then she appeared. Samantha. She was younger than me by at least 5 years, with glossy dark hair and a figure that made heads turn. She wore a red dress, bold and unapologetic, the kind of dress I hadn't dared to wear in years. She leaned in close when she greeted Daniel, her hand lingering on his chest as if she owned him. I sat there in my car, watching, my heart splitting in two. But what shocked me the most wasn't her beauty. It was her confidence. She wasn't acting like a secret lover, sneaking around in shame. She behaved like the rightful woman in his life. And then, like she could feel my eyes on her, she turned her head. Our eyes met through the cafe window. And she smiled. A slow, knowing, victorious smile. That was the moment I decided I would not let her win. The next day, I put my plan in motion. I waited until Daniel left for work and then did something I never thought I'd do. I texted Samantha directly. Hi. I think we should talk. Woman to woman. Her reply came faster than I expected. I was wondering when you'd reach out. Coffee? My treat. Arrogant. So smug. As if she thought I was going to beg. We agreed to meet the following afternoon. I'll never forget walking into that cafe. My palms were sweaty, my pulse erratic, but I forced myself to keep my head high. Samantha was already there, sipping an iced latte like she didn't have a care in the world. Emily, she said smoothly, rising to greet me. So nice to finally meet the wife. The wife. The way she said it was like an insult, like a joke. I sat down across from her, my jaw clenched. You've been seeing my husband. She tilted her head, feigning innocence. Seeing? Oh honey, I've been living with your husband. Just not under the same roof. Yet. The audacity of this woman. My blood boiled, but I refused to let her see me break. You know he's married, I said sharply. You know about me, about us. And yet you still. She cut me off with a laugh. Of course I know. But Emily, let's be honest. Do you really think he's happy with you? Men don't cheat on women they're satisfied with. Her words sliced through me, but I didn't flinch. Instead, I leaned in. Men cheat because they're weak, and women like you feed off that weakness. But let me make one thing clear. You may think you've won, Samantha, but this game is far from over. Her smirk widened, like she relished the challenge. Then may the best woman win. For the next few weeks, I played my role carefully. On the surface, I acted like the wounded wife, giving Daniel space, pretending I was processing. But behind the scenes, I was digging. I started tracking Samantha. Where she worked, who her friends were, what she posted online. She was a real estate agent, glamorous, always flaunting her lifestyle on Instagram. Fancy dinners, weekend getaways, expensive gifts. But here's the interesting part. Half of those gifts came from Daniel. The watch on her wrist. I recognized it. I bought him that same brand 2 years ago. The necklace? His taste, not hers. It wasn't just an affair. He was funding her life. The betrayal cut deeper than I imagined. He wasn't just cheating with his heart. He was cheating with our money. My sacrifices, my late nights, the home I built. All of it was being poured into her. I knew then that revenge wasn't just about hurting them emotionally. It had to be bigger. It had to ruin them both. One evening, I tested Daniel. As he came home late again, I asked casually, "So, how was your meeting?" He looked startled, then quickly composed himself. "Exhausting. We're dealing with a big client right now." I forced a smile. "Well, I hope it pays off. We've been spending a lot lately, haven't we?" His face stiffened for just a moment. Then he nodded. "Don't worry, Emily. I have everything under control." But I knew the truth. He didn't have anything under control. The more I studied Samantha, the more I realized her arrogance was her weakness. She believed she already had him, that I was nothing more than an obstacle. And Daniel, he was too blind to see that she was using him. Because I could tell from her posts, her conversations, even her tone at the cafe, Samantha didn't want Daniel because she loved him. She wanted him because of what he gave her. Money, status, and the satisfaction of stealing what wasn't hers. And I was going to use that greed against her. One night, as Daniel slept, I sent Samantha another message from his phone. "I've been thinking. Maybe it's time we take the next step. Move in together." Her reply came quickly. "Finally. I've been waiting for this. Tell me when." I smiled in the dark. This was it. This was the moment I could push her into making mistakes. Because when people think they've won, they stop being careful. And Samantha was about to get careless. The very next weekend, Samantha posted a picture on Instagram. It was subtle, but I recognized the background. She was inside a hotel suite. The same one Daniel had once taken me to for our anniversary. She captioned it, "New beginnings." My love. The rage that surged through me was indescribable. But beneath the fury, I felt something else. Opportunity. I knew exactly where they would be. And I knew exactly what I had to do next. End of part 2. With my phone in hand and revenge burning in my chest, I headed straight to that hotel, ready to catch them in the act. The hotel lobby smelled like stale perfume and expensive soap. My heart slammed against my ribs so hard it felt like it would break free. I forced myself to breathe slowly, to move calmly, to be invisible. I told myself this was about proof, about the truth. But as I rode the elevator up, a cold, ugly part of me admitted the truth. I wanted to watch them fall apart in real time. The hallway was quiet, carpeted in muted gray. I checked the room number on Samantha's Instagram background once more, 505, and crept toward the door. It was slightly ajar. From inside came the low murmur of voices. Daniel's laugh, God, that laugh, filled the corridor like a blade. My legs wanted to run. Instead, I pushed the door open and stepped inside. They were there. Samantha on the balcony, cigarette dangling between her fingers despite Daniel's protests. Daniel leaned against the minibar, a half-empty bottle beside him, his tie loosened, cheeks flushed with alcohol and something else. Comfort, maybe, or the relief of secrecy. Samantha saw me first. She didn't look surprised. She looked amused, as if my presence was an expected plot twist in a story she was already winning. Well, well, she purred, tossing the cigarette into the ashtray. If it isn't Emily. I wondered when you'd show up. Daniel's face went white. He stumbled toward me. Emily, this isn't what it looks like. My throat closed. Isn't what it looks like? Daniel, you're in a hotel room with her. Her hand is on your thigh. Your phone is full of messages about last night. What else do you need? He opened his mouth, then shut it, like he was drowning on the truth. Samantha sauntered over, every inch of her radiating triumph. Honey, save it. She already knows. You can't gaslight your wife in front of me. That's embarrassing. My hands curled into fists. How long? How long have you been doing this? She shrugged. Long enough. Long enough for you to start seeing the possibilities, Emily. Long enough to know that he's been unhappy. And long enough to start planning our life together. A cold laugh escaped me. Our life. Because you and my husband are so noble and selfless. Samantha's eyes flashed. I didn't seduce him to steal your life. He came to me. He wanted something different. For once, someone who could match him, not second guess him. I love him. She said the last words like a dagger. Daniel looked down, shame mingling with something like relief. I never wanted to hurt you, he muttered. I'm so sorry. Sorry. It felt like sand in my mouth. I wanted to rip them apart, to make them feel the jagged shards of what they'd done to me. But as the anger burned, so did a new, colder understanding. This wasn't only about intimacy. It was about a future they were building, one I couldn't let stand. I scanned the room, grasping for anything, documents, receipts, anything that proved this wasn't a casual fling. That's when my eyes landed on the small nightstand drawer, half open, papers peeking out. My breath hitched. Before I could think, I moved toward it. Samantha blocked me with a calm, almost theatrical hand. You really think snooping is going to change anything? She asked. You're pathetic, Emily. I ignored her and pulled the drawer wide. My fingers brushed a stack of papers, then a small velvet box tucked behind a pile of hotel brochures. I stopped. My fingers trembled as I lifted it. Samantha's smug smile tightened. Oh, you found it. I opened the box. Inside glinted a ring, delicate, classic, more substantial than anything Daniel had ever bought me. My mouth went dry. It wasn't just a ring. It was a promise. A plan. Is that? I didn't finish. Samantha laughed, low and cruel. Aren't you clever? He bought it last month. He says he's leaving you. He says he's starting over with me. We were going to move in together next month. Daniel's face had crumpled into a mask of panic. He reached for the ring like it might vanish. Emily, And that's not all, Samantha continued, leaning in like she was savoring each word. I've been seeing other signs. He's made arrangements. A few transfers here and there. You're not the only one who saved. And you're not the only one he lied to. My legs wobbled. My mind flashed through bank statements, bills. The life we built was my stability, our home, being quietly unstitched. Where did he send the money? I heard myself ask, voice small. Samantha smirked. That's for me to know. Besides, love, you're the one who should be asking more important questions. Like, are you sure you want to stay married to a man who can lie to your face and still kiss you? Then she slid a photograph across the nightstand toward me. I stared. It was a picture of Daniel, smiling, younger, and beside him, a woman I didn't recognize, clutching his arm from years ago. My heart lurched. Underneath the photograph was a hospital bracelet. My fingers brushed plastic, and my stomach dropped. What is that? I whispered. Samantha's expression shifted, just for a moment, from triumph to something like pity. An accident? No. A life change. She tapped the bracelet with a nail. This proves my point. He has a history. People who keep secrets have a way of collecting more. The room spun. I picked up the bracelet. It had a name scrawled on it in faded ink, Daniel's last name, and a date. My breath hitched as I recognized the hospital's logo. The date was from years before Daniel and I were married. Daniel moved like he wanted to take it away, but I snatched it back. What is this? He swallowed. It's complicated. His eyes were wet. I didn't tell you because I wanted to protect you. Protect me? From what? From every lie he'd told since the day we met? Samantha poured herself another drink, watching me dismantle my marriage in a daze. And then, with the ruthlessness of someone who truly believed they'd won, she dropped the final bomb. You should know, she said softly, leaning closer so her words were a caress. I'm pregnant. Time crawled. My hands were ice. The room began to narrow until the walls pressed against my ribs. Daniel looked like he'd been punched. His face, his eyes, were full of a desperate tenderness that turned my ball cold. He reached for Samantha's hand as if to steady himself, as if the anger he'd sought in this affair was suddenly real and beating inside her. Pregnant. My knees nearly buckled. I felt like I'd been thrown off a cliff and landed on glass. Samantha smiled at me, and it wasn't the same smugness as before. There was something luminous behind her victory now. Something that made me understand the scale of what they were building without me. Her smirk faltered for the briefest second. I saw the flicker of doubt, and that was when I knew I had a weapon. That night, I didn't sleep. Daniel begged to talk, to explain, but I ignored him. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing with one word: revenge. The next morning, I left before he woke. I drove straight to the bank. My hands shook as I logged into our joint accounts on the banker's computer. And my worst fear was confirmed. Thousands of dollars had been transferred over the last few months, quietly, strategically, into an account I didn't recognize. But the banker's face told me something even more valuable. The account wasn't in Daniel's name. It was in Samantha's. A wave of realization washed over me. This wasn't just love. This wasn't romance. It was a con. Samantha had been using him, draining him, building her empire off his back. And Daniel was too blind or too guilty to see it. I felt sick, but also energized. If I could prove this, I wouldn't just take her down. I'd destroy them both in one strike. That evening, Daniel came home, eyes hollow, guilt dripping off him. He tried again to explain, to beg. "Emily, please." I didn't want it to end like this. I thought I could handle both, that I could. Transition slowly. Transition? I hissed. Like I'm some old furniture you're replacing? He winced. No. God, no. I love you, Emily. I always will. But I made mistakes. Love me? My laugh was sharp. You love me so much you emptied our accounts for her? You love me so much you draft divorce papers while I'm still cooking you dinner? That's not love, Daniel. That's cowardice. He sank onto the couch, burying his face in his hands. For a fleeting second, I saw the man I once loved, broken and lost. But pity was dangerous now. Pity could ruin my plan. Tell me something, I asked coldly. Did you know the account is in her name? Did you know she's bleeding you dry while you play the lovesick fool? His head snapped up. What? I smiled bitterly. Didn't know, did you? Of course not, because while you're risking everything, she's securing her future. Without you. The color drained from his face. He looked like a man who'd been sucker punched. And I relished it, but I wasn't done. The following week, I set my plan in motion. Step 1. I went to Samantha's office. She didn't expect me, and that was the point. I walked in, heels clicking, my posture tall. Her assistant looked alarmed, but I breezed past her. Samantha was at her desk, lipstick perfect, eyes widening only slightly when she saw me. "Emily," she said coolly, "to what do I owe the pleasure?" I dropped a manila folder on her desk. "Consider it a courtesy. Proof that I know everything. The bank account, the transfers, the games you're playing." She flipped through the copies I'd made, her poker face impressive. But I caught it, the slight tightening of her jaw. "You don't scare me," she said finally. "Good," I replied, "because I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to warn you. You may think you're untouchable, but men like Daniel don't stay loyal. And when he realizes you're not his salvation but his downfall, he'll drag you down with him." She laughed, though it sounded brittle. "You think I can't handle him? Please. He's mine." I leaned closer, voice low. "No, he's no one's. And when I'm finished, neither of you will have anything left." That night, Daniel confronted me, panic in his eyes. "You went to her?" "Yes," I said simply. "Emily, don't. She's not who you think she is." "Oh, I know exactly who she is. The question is, do you?" He opened his mouth, then closed it. His silence told me everything. I knew I had to move fast. Samantha was cunning, and if she sensed danger, she'd cover her tracks. So I did the unthinkable. I messaged her, pretending to be Daniel again. "We need to talk about the money. Meet me tomorrow night." Her reply was instant. "Of course. Bring everything. I'll take care of it." Perfect. The next evening, I followed her to the meeting spot, a dimly lit bar at the edge of town. I watched from a distance as she ordered a drink, scanning the room for Daniel. She didn't know it was me who had set the trap. I snapped photos. Her alone, her checking her phone, her frustration as Daniel never appeared. Proof she was expecting him. Proof she was in deeper than she'd ever admit. And then, I watched as she pulled out her phone, dialing his number. When he didn't answer, she left a voicemail. I recorded it. "Baby, it's me. I'm waiting. Don't leave me hanging. We need to finalize this. The money, The house. Everything. Call me back. I almost smiled. Evidence. Concrete, undeniable evidence. My hands trembled as I saved the file. This was it, the leverage I needed. But just as I slid my phone into my purse, I saw her walk toward the exit, and she wasn't alone anymore. A tall man in a black coat approached her, kissed her cheek, and slipped an arm around her waist. Samantha laughed, leaning into him like she'd done with Daniel. My heart skipped. Who was he? I pulled out my phone again, snapping pictures as they left together. And then my blood ran cold. Because I recognized him. He wasn't just some stranger. He was Daniel's colleague, his business partner. End of part 4. As I stared at the photos on my phone, realization struck me. Samantha wasn't just betraying me. She was betraying Daniel too. And the trap I had set for her might just take him down with her. My hand shook as I stared at the photos on my phone. Samantha wasn't just cozying up to Daniel. She was entwined with his business partner, the man Daniel trusted most. The man who had access to accounts, deals, contracts. It all clicked into place. This wasn't a love story. It wasn't even just an affair. It was a con. Samantha wasn't building a life with Daniel. She was building a future for herself, and she was using both Daniel and his partner like pawns. And me? I was supposed to be the casualty, the discarded wife who went quietly. But I refused to be their victim. The next morning, I confronted Daniel. I slammed the photos onto the kitchen table, my voice shaking with fury. Look at her. Look at your precious Samantha. He frowned, picking them up. At first confusion, then recognition, then devastation crossed his face. That's Mark, my partner. What the hell is he doing with her? I folded my arms. The same thing you've been doing. Only difference? He's smarter. He's in on her game. Daniel paled. Game? What are you talking about? I leaned forward. Don't you get it? She's been playing both of you. The money transfers, the fake promises, the ring, the pregnancy. Daniel, you're not her forever. You're her fool. And she's planning to walk away with everything. His lips parted, his face breaking as if the floor had vanished beneath him. No, she wouldn't she? I snapped. You thought she loved you, but love doesn't empty your bank accounts. Love doesn't draft separation papers. And love sure as hell doesn't cozy up with your partner behind your back. He sank into the chair, head in his hands, whispering, What have I done? For a moment, I almost pitied him. Almost. But then I remembered every lie, every betrayal, every tear I'd shed. Pity wasn't in my plan. Revenge was. I went to work immediately. With the recordings, the bank records, and the photographs, I built a case so tight it could choke. I contacted an attorney, handed over the evidence, and set divorce proceedings in motion, on my terms, not his. The best part? Because the money had been funneled into Samantha's account, I wasn't the one left responsible for the losses. No, Daniel was. And if he wanted to salvage his reputation, he'd have to go after Samantha and Mark himself. But I wasn't done yet. 2 nights later, I arranged a meeting with Samantha. I pretended it was Daniel's doing again, sending her a message from his phone. Meet me at the office. Urgent. Don't be late. She showed up, her red heels clicking against the marble floor, her confidence practically dripping off her. When she saw me instead of Daniel, her face twisted.